What the heck is a ManyChat Randomizer? Well, I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to show you that now. All right, let's get this party rocking and rolling. And today we're going to talk about the ManyChat Randomizer and how we can use that for many cases. And today we're going to talk about giving a potential subscriber a discount of maybe 5%, 10%, or 20%, depending on what the randomizer will give us. This can be used in many areas. You could use it for restaurants, bars, yoga studios, gyms, breweries, wineries, you name it, anything that you can give a discount to, you could use this flow. And there's many ways to get people into this flow. You could use a scan code. You could use a ref URL, and maybe you're emailing out, and you could use a ref URL or any other way on social media. You could, what would be the other way? You could use Facebook ads, driving people in to this flow to get their discount. So there's many ways you can get them in. And we're going to go through this whole thing, and I will have this available down in the description. So you won't have to create it all by scratch and following the video. I mean, you can do that, but you can purchase it down below and basically speed up your development and just get this. And it will include things linked from Canva, to get the images as well and be able to use those. I'll link a template that you can install this. And obviously, we're going to go through some Zapier things. The Google Sheets within ManyChat isn't quite there yet because we need the update capability and those things. So I just went with the Zapier. There's a couple of things that we're going to do in there. And we're going to track ROI. We're going to track how much was spent. And so that you can track when the coupons are given out and if they're redeemed. We're just going to take a real quick look at the randomizer block before we actually get in the flow of the whole thing and putting it together. I just want to go through some basics with it. It is not, if I double click here, it's not in a message block. It's not a message block in here. What you want to do is I'm going to delete this. You just double click and it's a randomizer right there. So you click on that. And what it gives you is, initially it gives you two paths, 50%, 50% needs to be 100%. So no matter what you're giving away, what you're doing, for paths, I mean, you could use this to send different messages to people. You could use it for offers like we're going to go through. You could do a lot of different things with this. So let's just say, you want to add another variation. You just click on that button and you add another variation. And this has to total up 100. Now we're at 200. So I'm going to do is 25, 25. Let's just say we're going to do 50 on that one. No, let's say we'll do 40 on that one. And we could do 10 on this one. Now you have 100. And so what it'll do is based on these percentages, it's going to send people down that path based on what they keep as far as in randomly sending people down certain paths. The other thing is what you want to do is you want to click a random path every time. That way, and if you look at this, it says, if checked, subscriber will follow random path each time they reach this step. Otherwise, subscribers will always follow the same path. Great for A/B testing, contests, and lotteries. So I would put random path every time. And so depending on what you're going to do, we're going to use random path every time. In the video, I'm coming back and actually giving you some details on here. But as we go through the flow that I have put together, I'm not going to cover this as much, so I wanted to come back and cover this. And that's what you could do, is you can do this random path every time and just read this. It makes sense. I'm going to check it because because basically what it's saying, if checked, the subscriber will follow a random path each time. So somebody's going to randomly get a different path each time. It may be the same one, maybe not. So basically, and make sure that this totals up to 10%. And then the next step, you can do whatever you want to do based on it. Here's Randomizer. It's actually there too. It's just not in where the message is. You'd have to go here. But you can pick it here. You can pick those, anything, and take them spot. Same thing here. You can do whatever. Depends on whatever they're going through. So that was just a quick summary of the actual randomizer block. And that's what you do. And then you can delete them. You can take ones off. And then obviously it's going to tell you, hey, it didn't add up to 100%. So then you go back and make it 50 and 50. Well, there you go. We're in ManyChat, and I'm going to go into the flow. And I'm just going to do an edit so we can bring it up and look at it very closely. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check a tag to see if they've gotten the offer yet. And if they have, we're going to check to see if they redeemed it yet. And if they haven't, then we're going to, I'm just going to do something here quick. Grab that. And I'm going to put that in here, a little documentation in here. Check if redeemed. There you go. And if they have redeemed, they've gotten the offer, they redeemed, and we're just going to send out a redeemed message. And we're going to send out this one is that, let's see, haven't redeemed message. They haven't, they've gotten it, but they haven't redeemed it. You can send them a message if they come back in the flow. They're looking something, and we can follow up. I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit as well. But now let's say they didn't get the offer. So we're going to go to the first message, and we're going to do a little GIF here, and I'm going to say send opening message. And we're going to have a little GIF, and we're going to have a little message to say, hey, just need your email to complete the process, and we can find out what your % off will be. Is this the best email below, or have to type a new one? We're going to get the email right there, and then we're going to go into the randomizer block. And what I've done here is we have 5% off, 10% off, and 20% off. And I've percentage-wise what people may get. So what I've done is 23% and 23%. These are the 5%. So what I'm doing is kind of randomizing it within the randomizer and having 5% twice, 10% twice, and then a 20%. So that we don't hit the 20% very often. So you can weigh this, and you see the 20% is way down here at 12%. So you can weigh what somebody might get as far as a discount. And so the higher discount, you put a smaller percentage so it doesn't come up very often. You could do that with giveaways. You could do that. You could have a grand prize and then some smaller prizes. You could do the same thing with this. And then you could have a counter on the grand prize and only give away 2. And then they're gone. But you could have a very small percentage and only so many people get it. So it's kind of cool that way that you can do many different things. But what we did is I kind of go over this. You got 23, 21, 23, 21, 23. The 23 both go over to the 5%. And so we're going to set custom field to 5%. And I'll copy that. And we're going to enter. So now we're setting this custom field, and that custom field is going to be zapped over to Google Sheets. And then we go into the message that they got 5% off. Now, if we look at the 21%, both of these lines go down to this one. And it's another action that we're setting it to 10%. And then we got the different GIF and then the 10%. And you'll get all this with the flow. You can get all the GIFs and you'll get a link to this image in Canva that you can do it there. Now, the other one is 12%. And that one, we're going to set that field to 12% chance for the 20% coupon. So that is there, and did a little different GIF, and then they get to 20%. So that's the randomizer and the messages that you will send out. They all come back into an action where they're going to set the received offer date. The date we're going to zap over to Google Sheets as well, and we're going to set it to set to date of action. New thing where you're going to get the current date as of when this happened. And then a tag, we're going to tag got % offer, and that's going to trigger the zap. Once we're done with that, we're going to display that date that we just stored. So it'll be right underneath the offer so we know when they got it. And then we're going to ask some questions as far as redeeming it. Show this to the cashier, and then you can enter the amount. And we're going to ask them again to make sure that they really want to redeem it. Redeem for sure message. And I'm just going to change this one. Redeem message. And then we're going to say for sure. And then we're going to say great. Enter spend message. And we're going to get to spend. And then once we do that, we're going to set a redeem offer date to date of action, like we did with the receive. And then we're going to tag them, which is going to fire off another zap. And then they redeem it. And then after a minute, we're going to do a smart delay after that. And we're going to just say, thanks for redeeming your coupon. Now here, what you could do is you could give them another offer. You could say, hey, free appetizer next time you come in, or something. So you could continue to bring them back in to your establishment. It could be a restaurant, could be say it's a yoga studio, and say, hey, next time you come in, we're going to give you a free water bottle. So there's things that you could do right here to continue that process of having them coming in to see you. So that is the flow that you'll get down in there, or you can type it in the whole thing on your own and create it on your own. And now what we're going to do is go over to Zapier, and I've created two flows. One is step one, and as I mentioned before, it's going to, based on the tag, what we're going to do here is we're going to pick ManyChat. We're going to say new tagged user. And actually, I'm going to go tag myself. Now, this is one thing when you're using Zapier that you might want to have the tags applied as you're setting up the zaps so that they can pick up the test data as you go through them. So I'm going to test this connection. I pick ManyChat. I picked got % offer. So that was the first tag. So what we're going to do is first tag is going to come in, and we got tagged information. And then we're going to go to the next step, and we're going to add Google Sheets. So you're going to add Google Sheets. You're going to create a row. Say continue. And then you're going to pick where your Google Sheets are. I'm going to test it, make sure it's still connected. We're all good there. And then you're going to pick your spreadsheet, and you're going to pick the worksheet within the spreadsheet. And then we're going to add some fields. And so I already created this. I was doing a test. I'm going to delete that test. And so we're going to do it again. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. And I have an ID, first name, last name, full name, email, offer date, redeem date, and spend. One of the things I do with the ID column, I will highlight it like that, and I'll go to format, and then I'll go to number, and then I'll go down to more formats, custom number format, and make sure that it's this one, the 0, and apply. so that it has a full number and doesn't crunch it with plus signs and crazy characters, because then the lookup on the second zap doesn't work, at least in my experience. So we're going to add the name, we're going to add the last name, full name, email, the offer, and the offer date. And how you do this, I'll just kind of quickly go through here. I'm going to take this out. So if I want to put something in here, you're going to click on this, which will bring up the first action, or the trigger, and then you can scroll through and get it, and then the user ID is right here. So I'm going to put the user ID in there, and that's what you do. I mean, for the name, same thing, first name, just going to go through, and I'm going to assign first name. So that's how you fill those in. And once you got those filled in for the first one, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to fill in the ID, the first name, last name, full name, email, offer, what they won, and the offer date. And then you're going to hit continue. And then it's going to run a test. And it should probably added me. No, it's not going to run the test. So it didn't run the test the second time. First time, a lot of times it'll run the test and then it'll actually update. And so you have to look to see, and you might have to delete a row. It didn't do it this time. And so that zap is all done and ready to go. I'm going to go back, and now my second one, which is after they redeem, we're going to go through and do this again. We're going to create a new zap. I'm going to pick ManyChat, new tagged user, and I'm going to go and test. I pick your account. Zapier is kind of buggy. I don't know. They had some problems going on with their servers lately, I guess. The redeem percent offer. So, when you're looking at the tags, you're going to pick the tag that, basically the redeem percent offer. That's the one that is after they enter the information. And then you're going to say continue. You're going to test it. And now, one of the things you're going to do is you're going to do a lookup row. So you're going to pick Google Sheets again. But you're going to look up a row. Because what you want to do is you want to look it up based on the user ID. And so you pick your account for Google Sheets. And then you're going to tell it the sheet, the worksheet, the lookup column. So if you go in here, it's going to bring them all up. We're going to say the ID is what we want to look it up by. So I'm going to pick ID. And then the lookup value is going to come from step 1, from the trigger. So what you're going to do is I'm just going to say, I'll just show you how to do it. You're going to go take ID, and there you go. So you got that. I'm not going to test it because I don't have the data. There's no data in here to test against. And so now, once you have the lookup done, you're going to do another step, and you're going to say Google Sheets, update row, and your Google Sheets account that you're connected to. And then you're going to tell it again, the spreadsheet, the worksheet. And now here's the key is what you want to do in the drop down here is you want to make sure that you pick use a custom value advanced. That's the one you want to pick, because then in the next one, custom value for the row is going to be the row that you got in step 2. So there's step 2. So you're going to go like this and be like, oh yeah, I do want to do that. I want the row, not twice, just once. And so now what we want to do is we just want to update a few fields. We want the redeem date. So that's the second date that we had, that we got the current date as far as when they redeemed it. We're going to save that in there, and then the amount spent. And that's what, and this is test data that had come through. So you're going to select those. I'm not going to test it again. Finish. I'm going to turn this on. Okay, well, I'll make sure that these are on. So they're on, they're ready to go. So now let's go and test this flow out. I need to take these tags off. Let's see if I still have them on or not. Click on there. Yep, I do. So I want to take those off because otherwise I would have stopped as we went through the beginning of the flow. I checked those tags. So let's go back here. I'm going to preview it. And there we go. We're starting off here. Hey, Jeff, need your email to complete the process, and then we can find out what your % off it will be. So I'm going to enter in the email. And now we're going through the randomizer, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what are you going to get? I think I remember this one is 10%. So I got 10% off. And so what we should have is there we go. There is the user ID, name, email, 10% off. There we go. So now I'm going to say redeem coupon. And it's going to ask me, hey, are you sure? Sure, I'm sure. So now I'm going to enter in $50 I spent. So now it's redeemed. So now it should fire off another zap. And eventually we're going to get this information. It's weird. There it is right there. So I redeemed it on the same day and I spent $50. So there you go. Now you were able to track the ROI. You were able to track when the offers gotten and how much they're getting. And then you could track to see, how many people are getting the 5%, 10%, and the 20% or 20%. And then when they got it, when they're redeeming it, so you could see if they're redeeming it or not. So it's a great way to kind of track what's going on. This is the randomizer kind of gives you a random, different people get different things. And like I said, you could use this for many purposes, not just the % off. You're going to be able to get this flow and stuff, and you can use this video to kind of help you out. But the flow obviously will speed up your development. You'll have this you'll get all the gifts and all that good stuff. Now, one other thing we could do, and I'm just going to kind of go over it into it, is we could do an automation, and I'm going to include this with the download, is we can do, like, let's say, a new rule. And I don't think I'm going to do that. I'll use this one. New rule. You could trigger, and you could do time. And I'm going to say minutes. Actually, you could say a day. Let's just say, they redeemed the coupon or they got the coupon, but they haven't redeemed it. So what you could do is after field, current date, last interaction. So the last interaction, and I don't really care, use field time. Okay. 1 day after last interaction, field time. And then other condition would be tag. They have the % offer, and tag is not redeemed. So that way, 1 day later, you could actually send them a message. And I'll include this in the template. And then you could say, just send them a new message. I think you have to create one. Start a new flow. And I'll just do this and this. Yeah, I'll have to create a flow, but what you'd want to do is create a flow very similar to this. What I'll probably do is create a flow to find the flows here. Randomizer, this. So it'd be very similar to this message here. Hey, Jeff, see, you got the % offer, but haven't redeemed it. Come on in before it expires. So you could do something like that. on this. So last interaction. So a day later, they'll get a message say, hey, I saw that you haven't redeemed it. Or you could make it out farther. Maybe it's something that they won't use right away in the same day. Maybe they're going to use it in a week. It all depends on your situation. But it'd be a great rule that could be included. So I'll include that as well. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, let me know. Well, that concludes our video for today on the ManyChat Randomizer. We talked about many ways we could use it for percentage coupons like I showed you in the flow, or for giveaways, or any type of maybe where you want to randomize what they're going to get. Many niches that we could, restaurants and spas and gyms, and loads of different ways that you can use at events. So check it out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Down below in the description, I do have a link that you can actually purchase the code for this, and so you don't have to type it all in and stuff. Very reasonable. Check it out. And as always, like the video, share it across the world, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. And click the little bell on top so you do get notification when I do upload a new video. As always, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.